Hello, my name is Kirsty. Welcome to Kirsty Knits and Sews. I have kind of a lot and also not too much to show you today. We have the MKAL to talk about. I have a giveaway that I'm really excited to share with you guys. I've got some scrappy knitting, both current projects and something that I did a while ago that is falling apart, and I just wanted to talk to you about it, maybe get a few ideas if you have ideas. And of course the Musselburghs, because I'm all about Musselburghs at the moment. Let's jump in. Alright, I will save the MKAL to last because I know that while the last clue is out, and by the time this goes up, most people will have probably seen it. I also want to give you the chance to not have that spoiled if you don't want it spoiled. So let's start with my one finish. Oh, actually, no, let's start with what I'm wearing, which is actually going to be really unhelpful because I don't know what the patterns are, but I will address that first of all. So this is my shawl. I have a feeling I may have the pattern saved to my computer, which I didn't have access to this morning before I started. So I will check, and if I do have it, I will put the name down the bottom. But this is, I want to say, one of the first ever shawls that I knit. I learnt to knit when I was a child. The most recent time, the time that it stuck, I was 13, but I learnt multiple times before I was 10. But this is the first shawl I remember doing, and it was one that my sister found the pattern for on Ravelry. I'm pretty sure it was free because that was the extent of my knitting at the time. I didn't pay for patterns back then. And she did this. So Mel, if you remember what the pattern is, you can also tell me if I haven't remembered and found it. But she did this and I thought that was great, and so I did it as well. I can tell you the blue is Luxury, Bendigo Wool & Mill's Luxury 4-ply. And I want to say it's in like coastal blue or something like that. The gradient colour is Blue Brick. I don't know if it's Blue Brick Yarns or Blue Brick, who is, I believe, a Canadian dyer who does the most beautiful long gradients. So this is just one part of the gradient. It was actually a much deeper, a much longer gradient, and I knit an entire top out of it, and this was the leftovers. The top, I made a mistake and I didn't like the finished product. It was probably a little small for me, and I ended up giving it to an op shop, a charity shop, which was fine. I could not bear to rip it out. Me today, I would have frogged it and made something different. But me back then, when making a top was a huge thing, I just couldn't bear the thought of undoing that work, and I would rather give that to someone else who would enjoy it than frog it. Yeah, the things that change as we progress. Anyway, so I love, love, love this shawl. I'm sorry I don't know the pattern. I hope that I've been able to find it for you. I did have a look on Ravelry this morning to see if I could find it, but it was before I made project pages. Like, this was my first ever shawl, I'm pretty sure. But I do love both the way that it stripes in and out, but also the different lace patterns, because every pattern is different. So yeah, it's really great. It is a little bit tight on this edge because I believe it was a slipped edge, and my knitting was tighter, so I have a lot more stretch down here than I do at the edge. But yeah, I love it. Before I put that on, I'm also wearing a crocheted jumper. But alas, it has the same problem as this, in that it is the first jumper I ever crocheted, and it was before I kept track of things on Ravelry. And again, I have not been able to find the pattern. I did have a look. I cannot find it anywhere. It was a free crochet jumper pattern on Ravelry. And I can tell you that I kind of didn't even follow the pattern because I believe it was a UK pattern, but I read it like a US pattern. And if you do crochet, you understand that a double in UK is a single in US. I think that's the right way around. I think. So this was a half double. What is it? Whatever it is, what the stitch I ended up doing was not the stitch in the pattern. And so while I did it to spec, I thought, I did end up with a much wider neckband than I had planned, and I had to play with the pattern quite a bit. Ended up doing extra rows around the neck and decreases to try and cinch it in so it just didn't fall off me. So even if I could give you the pattern, what I'm wearing and what the pattern is don't actually line up. But I can tell you it is DK weight yarn. It is classic DK, which is again, Bendigo Wool & Mills yarn. That's where I sourced most of my yarn when I was starting out doing, I want to say serious knitting, but I say that carefully. I knit a lot of scarves before I moved into garments. And I was serious about scarves. I knit a lot of scarves in like that feather acrylic stuff. Yeah, they're like really fluffy, so many scarves. But yeah, when I moved into garments, Bendigo Wool & Mills was kind of where I got things from. It's an Australian mill and the prices are pretty good. I will just say, if you use their yarn, at least the luxury and the sock weight, the sock yarn that I've used tends to be on the thicker side, plumper side than your standard sock yarn or DK yarn. Yeah, just to be aware of, gauge may be off. Yeah, anyway, so this was classic. I can't even tell you what color it is. I bought so much of this yarn for this jumper. I way overestimated how much I would need, and I was using it up for ages. I did finally finish it up or gave it to my sister, one of the two. Anyway, but I pulled it out again because it is cold. My other DK weight jumper is in the wash and I needed some warmth, and this is perfect at the moment. It's 10 degrees here. I live in Poland. I'm from Australia, but I live in Poland. And it is, 10 degrees, raining this morning. And I'm wearing this just over a merino singlet, tank top. And yeah, it's perfect for such a day. Will I put this back on? I don't think I will. It's not quite cold enough. Alright, so that's what I'm wearing. I will put it back on. That's what I'm wearing. Like I said, sorry if you're like, wow, I really love that, I want to make that. I will try and find the pattern, at least for the shawl. I'm pretty sure I have it on a computer, because I would have saved the pattern on my computer because it was back in the day before everything was on my phone. And my pattern library on my computer is decently organized because I have sewing, I have knitting, I have garments, I have quilts. Some of it is decently organized, I should say. The quilt side is not very organized. Alright, so now on to finished objects. The only thing I have finished this week is another Musselburgh. This is the pattern Musselburgh by Isolde Teague. I think this is the cast off side, so you can see that. I don't block my Musselburghs, I just wear them. If you wear them, they will eventually block out, and that's fine. This is the cast on edge. It's not as neat, but no one is going to notice or care. I only show you that because after this, I started another one in which Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady has been doing Musselburghs as well. And someone recommended to her just casting on 8 stitches, starting the increases and then going back and looping through those 8 stitches and cinching it up, rather than trying to do like the pinhole cast on or whatever. So I did that for the next one, and it actually is neater than whatever I did here. So I'm going to do that going forward. Like, it looks much more like that. I'll show you at the end. But this is a Musselburgh by Ysolda Teague. It is a beanie, a hat. It is amazing. The yarn that I'm using for this one, do I still have, oh no, where did I put it? The yarn I used for this one, I do still have a little bit left over. I do have it here. So this is how much I have left over from a 100-gram ball. And it is, if I can find it. Sorry, this is another project bag, and I just have leftovers from projects in here that I haven't taken out and done whatever I'm going to do with yet. I can't find the tag for this yarn. Ah, there it is. It is black wattle yarn and fibre. It is Kumzea 4-ply in slate blue, and it is a 70% baby alpaca, 20% silk, 10% cashmere. My goodness, this thing is delightful. I haven't worn it out yet because I wanted to show you guys first, but oh my goodness, and even like the matchiness of this, brilliant. I have a lot of blue in my wardrobe, and I have a lot of navy blue, different shades of blue, and I always struggle if I'm getting something blue that I want to match a wide range of things. I never know which blue to pick because I just have so many blues. But I thought this was a good one, and already it's proving its worth. I just wanted a plain coloured Musselburgh. The one that I finished and showed on the last episode, which was hand spun, I love, and I have worn that non-stop every day. This one I think is going to be warmer. Already I can feel my head getting warm, but it's just so soft. And I showed you last week, yep, get the hat hair, woohoo! I showed you last week, it just has such beautiful drape. Like, it's not as structural as my other ones, and that's it's the alpaca and the silk and the cashmere too, I'm sure. It's just beautiful and warm, and in the cooler weather, like here we get snow and yeah, cold days, cold nights. This is going to keep my head so warm. Now, Musselburgh, quickly, if you've never seen it before, I should say hi. There are a lot of new people here who have joined since my last episode. So hi, welcome. Good to see you. And obviously for all of you people who've been here for a while, good to see you too. Yeah, Musselburgh is a long tube. So you cast on, do increases, knit a tube, decrease back down. And then just about halfway through, you just put one end into the other. And it's done. That's it. And you can wear it like that, which gives a bit of a slouch look. What do you think? Yeah? Or you can fold the brim up and have that extra layer of thickness over your ears, which is how I tend to wear it. I still like to have a little bit of looseness on the top. I don't like it to be completely flat against my head. That's just because I don't like things on the top of my head. It gives me a headache. I don't know why, but it gives me a headache if I have pressure here. So I like having hats that are a bit looser. This is an adult large, same as my last one. I followed the pattern exactly for an adult large, except that I did the length an adult medium length, because I don't know if it's that I have a wide head or I just don't like things tight, but I like the circumference of the adult large with the length of the adult medium. I think that's what I've decided to do for me from now on. Yeah, love the hat. So that is, oh, and I have my trusty notebook here. This is just, I think it's meant to be an art journal that I have, or an art book that I have turned into a knitter's journal. And do I have, yeah, so I started this on the 6th of October and finished it on the 21st of October, and it took 88 grams. The last one I did took 96 grams. So depending on gauge and a few things. I think this is 400 meters. Yeah, 400 meters to 100 grams. The last one I did was hand spun, and I think it was 360 meters or something. So having less meters meant that I needed more yarn. Yeah, there you go. So this is how I do my yarn tracking. Skeins in, skeins out, what I've been doing. Except clearly I haven't put skeins out or skeins in this month. Should go back and update it. It is October 29 today. I've only finished 2 things this month, but we're going to see why in a minute. All right, so that is that Musselburgh. I will show you the next one. This one I showed you the yarn last week, and straight away got a message from my dad saying, can I claim that one when it's done? Yes, Dad, yes you can. My dad is an artist, he's a painter. He paints trees on location, on plein air, in Australia. When he visits me here, he's going to paint me a Polish tree. But he lives in Australia and paints trees and is amazing. But because he goes out in Tasmania and sits for hours painting, he's always looking for warm clothes. And me and my sister are keeping him in hats and socks and things for that. So this is what I've done so far. It is, again, an adult large. I don't know how long I'm going to do this, in that I'm going to run out of yarn, I think, before I get to the length that it should be, and so then I have to figure out how I'm going to finish it off. The yarn I'm using are scraps. It is Zauberball Crazy. It's 2-ply fingering weight yarn. So this is what I've got left of the scraps. So that will be colour 3. This is the last bit of colour 2. And colour 1 went to the bottom of this green section here. So this colour, I believe, was called Tropical Fish. And the other ones, I have no idea, because, yeah, these are socks that I made over a year ago. But I made all these pairs, I believe, for my dad. I thought one was for my father-in-law, but that was more grey, and a friend has the scraps from that. So these were all made for my dad, and now will be a beanie for him. And I didn't do any colour management. If you look here, there's like the green and then a very pale bit of grey, and then it goes into a more greeny colour there. That is just finishing off one and starting the next. Nothing special done. And I love, because it's such a gradient yarn, when you go from, like, it's clear that there is a difference between this part and this part, but actually where that change happens is kind of hard to tell, because this is already getting into murkier colours. Yeah, really, really enjoying it. This is almost done, and again, there'll be a bit of a jog, a bit of a colour change when we go from one to the other there. But, oh well, that's how it's going to be. This has been, yeah, like I said last time, Musselburghs are my simple knitting. I did wind this into a ball because it was getting all knotted and was getting frustrating for me. But it's a simple knit, mindless knit, and I love them. I don't actually know. Excuse me. I do have my next one planned. My daughter wants a pink one, and I have a skein of hand-dyed pink yarn downstairs, but I need to skein that up. So I don't know if that's going to be my next one, because I need to actually make it. I mean, wind it up, not make it. I need to wind it up. Or whether I'm going to finish this and then need something quickly and grab something different. We'll see. Alright, my next whip is one that I have made a bit of progress on since last week. It is some socks. This yarn Musselburgh, 3mm needles. I do increases and decreases on magic loop. So I use a 36 or 40 inch loop, and then I do the rest on a 16 inch 40 centimeter circular needle. Yeah, that's it. Chowgoo red lace, my favorite. Not sponsored, just my favorite. All right, I have a sock. I had this sock last time. I had this sock and a cuff last time. This time I have a sock and almost another sock. We're getting there. So this yarn is hand dyed by me. It is a 75-25 sock yarn. It is 75 wool, 25% recycled polyamide, which I believe is nylon, but it's recycled. This is one that I dyed just for fun one day, and it has this beautiful subtle colour that I've really enjoyed knitting with. I am doing these on 9-inch circular 2.25mm needles because I am someone whose gauge gets looser when I knit on 9-inch circular, but that could also be because I changed to knitting continental on 9-inch circular. So I hold my yarn in my left hand and I pick stitches for 9-inch circular. When I'm doing magic loop, any other type of knitting, I'm throwing with my right hand, which is English style. So that can also make a difference. I did the heel flap and the heel turn on 2.5mm DPMs because I could just knit back and forward, and I just find that so much easier than doing all of the purling continental style. And I am a couple of rows away from finishing the gusset. These are little stitch stoppers that I got from Temu, I believe. I have stitch markers on my socks as I knit my second sock. As I knit my first sock, I count my rounds. As I knit my second sock, I switch them over to the second sock to make sure that the rounds match with both socks. I did do one extra round of ribbing on the second sock, so I did one less round in the leg on the second sock. Yeah, I laughed. I was like, I always do 14, and then I was like, I need to do 16, and I got to 15, and I was like, wait a minute, no I don't. So yeah, slightly mismatched, but no one's gonna notice. And yeah, this is one that I'm doing for my sister to give as a gift. And once this is done, I will cast on another one, but I will probably do the next one magic loop because I prefer magic loop. I'm quicker on magic loop. I just need to make sure I have the needles for magic loop. All right, I have one more whip and the giveaway. No, I don't. I have, oh my goodness, I forgot one. All right, not my last whip. I have been knitting on my Bits and Bobs blanket, and my goodness, I am enjoying this. So let's see how to do this. This is getting big. I lay it out on my bed the other day to try and figure out how close I was to finishing, and there's still a bit more I want to do. It's huge. I did cast on more stitches than the pattern recommended. I think I did 180. I don't think it's many more, but it is more than the pattern said. And I want it to be big enough that I can lie under it. It's definitely big enough as a lap quilt, but I do want it to be big enough to lie under. And when, I presume I'll block it, but it should stretch a bit wider. I don't know how that's going to affect the length either. It is scraps, held double with drops fibre, and this is colour 114, which I think is light grey, but I bought it in Poland, so the name was like Jasna Shadow or something like that. I was doing it held double, so the first half of the blanket is held double with a yarn from Hobby, but it was quite expensive, and it was, to my thinking, not great quality for the price that I was paying. And so when I had a look around, I found this one. It is lighter than the other one, but it's a scrappy blanket and no one cares. I don't care, and it's my scrappy blanket, so it's fine. Honestly, if someone doesn't know to look for them being different colours, they're not going to notice. But everything else that I'm holding with it is non-sock yarn or single sock yarn. So I do have some sock singles in here that, like, it is nylon. Yeah, it is wool nylon, but it's singles. So I don't use that for socks. Although that's a lot, so I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that in here or use it as a shawl. But I have a lot of scraps in there. Some of them are, like, I used that one as part of a scrappy advent I made for myself that I used in a shawl. Well, that's where that is. That's left over from one of my Stephen West shawls. I have leftovers from blankets, all sorts of things, but none of it that I would use for socks is kind of my parameter for this. So I do have acrylic, I have wool, I have like this one here is crepe, this pink one, and I'm just using it up. Whatever I have, I use to the end. So where is my So I put a marker on last time I showed you this. I don't show this every time I work on it because it takes a while to see visible progress. But last time I worked on it, I was down here, so just in this dark colour. It looks black. It's really a purpley blue colour. But yeah, I was down here, and so I've knit all of this dark colours, which, yeah, you can see this like bold colour rainbow in the middle. That middle section is a different colour, but it's half rainbow and half black. I think it was a Halloween colourway from Very Yarn Designs. And I just love that I've got like a dark purpley splash of colour and then a dark, like a navy blue here. And I've just changed colour to pink, which is going to be my next colour. And I don't have much pink. It's left over from the same blanket as this brighter colour one there. I'm doing this on 4mm needles. I'm using Knit Pro Novas for this. The cord gets a bit kinked. If I was doing a tighter thing, I think the joins here would bug me because they're definitely not smooth. But for what ends up being quite a loose gauge, I haven't had any problems with them going up onto the needles. I wouldn't do socks with this join, but for this, it's working fine. And I have considered seeing if they have deep ends because the actual needles are quite delightful to use. The pattern is by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears, and all of my things that I show you that I have project pages for are linked below, and the patterns are linked in the project pages. They are Ravelry project pages. Like I said, for these two, I don't have project pages because I made them 6 years ago, 7 years ago, a while ago. Yeah, I don't even know when, a while ago, but it was before I did project pages. So that is that one. All right, let's do the giveaway now, and then I will show you my Stephen West MKAL and another scrappy jumper that I've made that needs help. So I just wanted to do a giveaway. I've been thinking about it for the last few episodes and I kept forgetting, so I'm doing it today. But I then found this cup at a shop here in Poland, and I thought that was delightful. And I'm all about cables and Christmas, and I just thought this was really delightful cup. So I bought one for me and I bought a second one to do a giveaway. I also have this yarn, which, funny story, I put an order in from a shop here in Poland and I bought one of these. And then maybe a month later, I put another order in from the same shop and bought another one of these. And I hadn't realized that I just bought one. I don't know if I did the orders and one arrived before the other one. No, I think I just put this away already. And when I went back the next time, I was looking at sock wools and I saw this and I was like, that's really pretty. I want that. And so I bought two of them. And I love knitting socks, but I don't need to knit two full pairs and have scraps from two of the same. So I thought I'd do this as part of the giveaway. It is colour 11304, and that's a bit of an idea of how it will knit up. It is opal 4-ply 75/25. Yeah. I like knitting socks with opal, so I thought that is a nice thing to go with the mug. And then just because when you're doing a giveaway, you always want the extra little thing, I also have some stitch markers. Not sure, sorry, the glare is real. Not sure where I got these from. I know that I got 2 sets of them from somewhere. And so these ones are going to join this little giveaway. To enter the giveaway, just write something, comment below. I would love to know what you're working on, or you can give me advice on my next conundrum, which is about this sweater that is coming up. But yeah, any comment will enter you to win, and I will announce the winner here next episode, which will usually be 2 weeks. When I announce the winner, I will announce it here on screen, so you will have the name. If someone comments on your comment saying, hey, you've won, ignore it, because that's not how I do things. I will announce it on the video with your name, and if I can't pronounce your name, I'll put it on the screen, but it will be part of the video, not as a comment. I will probably reply to your comment, but I will not reply to your comment saying that you've won. It'll be announced on the next video. So if you like knitting socks, drinking tea, coffee, hot chocolate, anything that uses stitch markers, don't have to knit socks with this. You could use it for a colourwork shawl or something. Comment below. Alright. I will save the MKAL till last. I have sent help. This is my sea glass sweater, which is a pattern by 3 by the Sea, Woolen Pine? Oh my goodness, I've forgotten the name. I want to say Woolen Pine. I'll put it on the screen though. Yeah, I've knit a few of their sweaters, cannot remember the name. Anyway, it is sea glass tea. It is a 1x1 colourwork design. And in my one, every row I changed both colours. So it is very, very scrappy. It is using all sorts of different yarns, acrylics, nylon, sparkly, whatever. And you can see the jog in the back. And then later on the side where it joined. What I have found, like that doesn't really bother me. It's annoying, but it doesn't really bother me. But what I found is more and more my joins are coming undone. I did the magic knot. I gave them a good tug and they seem to be okay, but especially around the sleeve, they are coming undone. So I would love your advice. I don't really want to duplicate stitch the whole side. What I'm thinking is that I will just zigzag stitch over it on my sewing machine. This is an overlocker, but I have a sewing machine as well. And so I was thinking maybe I could just do like the whole seam that has that join, just do a zigzag stitch over the top of it so that it is visible. I would probably do it in a blue, like make it almost a design feature. And for the sleeve and the side, I don't mind. For the back, like that would then be a big zigzag down here. And so I don't know, not as sure about that. But I also don't know if one zigzag is going to be enough because, you know, for that kind of fluffy bit there, that's not much to actually be caught. And it also means I'm zigzagging over knots. And so, yeah, I'm not sure whether one line of zigzag will be enough or whether I need to do two and kind of go either side. I could test it on a swatch because I do have a swatch from this. And maybe that's the way to go, test on a swatch, see what it looks like. But at the moment, I'm at the point where I'm not wearing this because it is falling apart. I do love the sweater. I want to wear it. And so I just need something to make it wearable again. Yeah. So if you've done something like this before, I would love your advice. I think zigzagging would be my best option that doesn't involve frogging the whole thing or something. Yeah. Any thoughts? Any advice? All right. Now it is time for the MKAL. I will probably talk a little bit after this about life stuff, but this is the end of the knitting content, I believe. I've done the giveaway. I've spoken about all my whips. So if you don't want to see MKAL spoilers at all, then maybe just turn off now. I will be talking about Clue 4. I've started section 10, which is the final section. So yeah, like it is spoiler time if you don't want to be spoiled. All right, I am using hand-dyed yarn. I dyed these yarns and I did find some mohair, which is gazelle. I don't know if it's kid silk. It's gazelle. It's a merino mohair nylon blend. I do have another 4 skeins, but not here. I'm going to have to get them to finish the shawl. All right. Well, I was half right. If you watched last week's episode, I was half right. So let's have a look-see. This is Clue 1, down to the end of those bobbles. Clue 2, down to the end of the next bobbles. Clue 3, if I can make this sit properly, is this beautiful triangle wedge section, which if you were finishing at section 9 and not doing the optional larger part, that would be the bottom of your shawl, because Clue 4 came back up to the top and filled it in so that we have this beautiful semicircular design. My goodness, I love it. I have said before, shawlography was my favourite one so far. If you can hear that walking, that's my dog. Hi. Yep, I got a dog. Cool. All right. Shawlography was my favorite one so far, which is a round, like a rounded semicircular shawl. This is going to be the same, a rounded semicircular shawl. It is so warm. I was using it the other day before I picked up stitches down the bottom. It is delightful. This part up here, it almost reminds me of like a Greek design, these parts here. They are triangles. So you've got a garter stitch triangle and then a slip stitch triangle, but it creates these square designs. Now, I've seen other people's versions and the triangles on theirs stand out much more than on mine. My ones, like, you've kind of got to look for the triangles. Their ones, you almost see the triangles before you see the squares. I'm not sorry that you see the squares on my one. I love them. I just find it interesting. And the only thing I can think is that my slip stitches were looser. Like, I didn't pull them as tight. And so you end up with a looser triangle that sits back in the fabric a little bit more rather than popping out a bit more. Yeah, I love it. I love the semicircles that are kind of going throughout the shawl. And the final thing down the bottom, which I've just started, is going to emulate this here. So the colour in the contrast colour in the background, and then the main colour, pearl bumps, in the foreground, but as long wavy stripes. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but there's some yarn overs and things in here to help create that wave. I've only just started, and I'm doing my my main colour in the mohair, because he says that every stripe is about 10 grams, and he has you do 3 stripes, but and then around 12 grams for the bind off. I only have 20 something grams of this and 40 something grams of this. So what I'm planning to do is hoping to do 4 stripes of this, 3 stripes of this, and then the final stripe, them held together, and then the bind off with that. So it'll mean that I have some mohair in between. And so you can just see maybe, that very small line of mohair there. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but yeah, I was considering adding, like, doing mohair as a background colour in here, but then I realised that the whole weight of the shawl is going to be on that, and I didn't want the mohair in that, and so having it down here, it's just the end of the shawl, and it can hold that weight. Yeah, so that is my 2024 Stephen West Mystery Knit Along shawl. What's it called this year? Go-Go Dynamo. My Go-Go Dynamo shawl. I love it. It is, I mean, it's still on the needles, but it is big and warm. It works really well as just a shawl to actually sit under, which I've been doing a bit in the cooler evenings. Yeah. I said last week, next time remind me that I want to do Scrappy. 100% next time remind me that I want to do Scrappy. But I am happy with the colours that I've used. I like that you have, like, the bolder section here, the slightly more muted just because there's thinner sections here, and then the more muted down here. For section 3, I did hold the mohair double with the contrast colour. So I held the green mohair with the yellow contrast colour, like I did in the brioche, which you can see more on the back. So that one's the same. I held the green mohair with the yellow. And that just helped to mute it a little bit because I didn't want quite that much yellow. Yeah, I'm really happy. I don't know how long this last bit is going to take me. We're over 600 stitches per row, and there's 4 rows per colour. So let's see. If I'm doing another 4 rows of each colour, 7 more rows times 4 is 28 times 600. It's a few stitches, you know, but it is long rows, so it will be a bit easier to do than the wedges, which were very, very short rows back and forth. Yeah, so I'll probably work on that a bit today. Let's see, life things. I am either sick or have terrible allergies. I'm not sure which one. I woke up a couple of nights ago and just felt awful, and I took allergy meds in the middle of the night, and it did help me sleep better for the rest of the night. And so last night I did the same thing, woke up to see to one of my children, took my next dose of allergy meds, because it's meant to be every 24 hours. And once you take it in the middle of the night, it's really hard to bring that forward. But it was a couple of hours earlier last night, so I think tonight I can probably take them before I go to bed. And I also did some nasal spray today, which helped. But yeah, I'm just not sure whether it's lingering sickness from what I had last week, because I was sick last week, or whether it's allergies, because autumn here in Poland sometimes kicks up allergies. Me and my daughter are like this at the moment. My son, who has allergies in spring, doesn't have allergies at the moment. Go figure. Yeah, so we're just not quite sure what's going on. But I have cleared my day today. I think it's probably allergies, and I'm trying to get them under control. But maybe it's, you know, complications from having a cold. Who knows? Yeah, so it means that today will be a bit of a quieter day. I'm going to go and sit and knit and watch TV and eat soup. Goulash. I made goulash last week. And rest. What else has been happening? Oh, on the weekend we went mushrooming. Oh, it was so much fun. I'll put a few photos up here. Our Polish teacher goes mushrooming with her husband and has grown up mushrooming, and so we went with her and found some beautiful mushrooms. And then yesterday we've cooked with them a little bit, but then yesterday we washed them, cut them up, dried them. We dried them in the oven because the sun was not strong enough to dry them, and so now we have dried mushrooms that we can use for the next year as we cook. We love wild mushrooms. I'm not a huge mushroom fan, the mushrooms that you buy from a shop. I don't really care. But wild mushrooms, oh, they add so much delicious flavour. So we have them. The one thing is you have to cook them. Even if they're completely safe to eat, you have to cook them before you eat them. So we've dried them out, but we'll still cook them before we use them in food. You can't just sprinkle it on a salad or something. It needs to be cooked. So that's really exciting that we have that. We still have a few left over from when we went previously, which would have been 2 years ago now. Yeah, so we're excited for that. And it's raining today, which means in a couple of days' time, there should be plenty more mushrooms. So we might go out again if I'm feeling up to it. That's one reason I think it may be allergies, is that we went for a 4-hour walk through the forest on Saturday, and then Sunday I felt awful. So it could be that I got sick on Saturday, or it could be that I was overwhelmed with allergies on Saturday. To know. What else? Make-along is really fun. I've been meeting up weekly with my mum and my sister and some friends who have done the make-along together previously. This year it's just me and my sister doing it, and we are doing the same colours, but she doesn't have mohair. But we've still been doing the catch-ups every week for whoever is able to join in from wherever they are in the world. So Poland, America, Australia. And it's just really nice to kind of have an online knitting chat, because I don't have fellow knitters here in Poland, and I miss talking knitting with people. So that's been enjoyable. I also last week did taught embroidery at an English language club, which was a lot of fun. So yeah, it's something that my church runs, an English language club. We meet at the church, and obviously I speak English, and so I was asked to come and teach some kind of craft, and I decided embroidery was easier than knitting to teach. And I'm glad I made that choice, because most of the people who were there are not natural crafters, and I think that, yeah, the embroidery was much easier for them to pick up than the knitting. But yeah, that was really fun to sit and chat. There were some people from Tajikistan, from Poland, from somewhere else. Someone from the UK popped in. Like, it was just a good fun chat, enjoyable thing to do. And that means, I did start another embroidery, but I didn't bring it. It's in my craft room, and I haven't done anything since then. But yeah, that was good. That's everything I have for you today. Like I said before, if you want to enter to win yarn, cup and stitch markers, just comment down below. If you don't want to enter to win, but you still want to share something down below, maybe just put a note saying, I don't want the prize. I don't know. But yeah, comment down below. I will pick someone and announce it on the next video. Not commenting on anyone. There's a lot of people, bots and things that try and trick people. So I will comment on the next video who has won. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you again in a couple of weeks. Bye.